Hey loves, hey besties, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time coming across my video, then I go by the name Rosie. I give you week tutorials every week. I hope you stick and stay with me on this channel. Kindly do well to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. So today we will be looking at how to make a PIXIE cat without a closure, right? A French PIXIE cat without a closure. So as you can see in the video, I went ahead to adjust my dome cap to fit the head of my client properly, and so I have a video of the cap adjustments, right? So you can go to my previous videos and then watch that video. So I went ahead to sew my adjustment. As you can see in the video, that is what I was doing. So I had to sew both sides. You can go and watch that video to know how to adjust your cape if you don't know how to do that. So I was done with my adjustment, as you can see. So I went ahead with my tape measure. Like you always know, we always have to go with our tape measure whenever we want to draw our guidelines. And so I went ahead with my tape measure, and then as you guys can see, if you want to know how to properly place your tape measure for guidelines, I have a video of that in my previous video, but here I was still showing you guys where to place your tape measure. And so because I'm doing a fringe, I'll go ahead and draw the center, so a very small circle. That is where I will be ending or closing my stitches, right? Okay, so that is what I just did. And so from there you go to the back of the canvas head and then make sure we draw our guidelines to the top, like not as we always do. So go ahead and then pin the tape measure onto the dome cap, and then because I'm doing a PIXIE cat, I'll be going in with 1/2 inch. So this time I'm doing 1/2 inch, not 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and then mark to the top. So after drawing the guidelines, as you can see, we are going to sew on every line. Now I left a small space. You see, I didn't draw to the close to the circle. So now you are going to, after drawing from the back, you are going to turn around the dome cap and then draw from front to where the circle is, where you made your center. So that is what I am doing. I said before that I will be doing a pixie cut fringe without a closure. So after drawing some lines towards the circle, you go ahead and then make some small circles around it. So just draw your circles, draw your circles until you don't have any space anymore, right? So that is what you want to be doing. So just go ahead and draw your circles. Yes, but make sure whatever you are drawing is neat, so that when you are sewing, you are making neat stitches, right? So this is how it looks like after drawing my guidelines. Now let's go ahead and then double weft some of the bundles. Yes, I wanted to use all the bundles I had, and so I went ahead to double weft the bundles. So like I said, I intended to use all the bundles I had to make this particular wig, and so I double wefted some of the bundles. Now if you want to know how to do your double wefting, I can't explain in this video because this video is not about double wefting, and so kindly go and check my previous videos. You are going to see a video on how to double weft your bundles, right? And so could you believe I did my first double wefting without knowing my thread was finished. And so I went in to sew it again. So I wefted some of the bundles. I think I had like 6 wefted bundles. Yeah, so I just go ahead and then weft my bundles neatly. You want to make sure you are doing a neat job. So that is it. So I wefted all the bundles and I just went into sewing. And so here I started with the single bundles, the ones I didn't weft. So those are the ones I started with. And as you can see, you make sure you are doing a neat stitches, right? And so you make sure you don't have your cap you are not sewing on a crumpled dome cap. Make sure your cap is lying down flat before you sew on it, to keep it from having this bumpiness at the top. So I went ahead to sew, continued sewing. As you can see in the video, I sewed and sewed and sewed. I sewed on all the lines. Yes, all the guidelines I sewed on it. So guys, you keep sewing until you get to where you have your circles, right? There you are going to go in circles, but for now you are going to be stitching your way through to the top. So as you can see, I make sure everywhere is neat before I stitch. Now I was done with the back, then I started with the front. So you see I am sewing on my guidelines. So you stitch, continue stitching like that until you get to your circles. So that is what I was doing. I didn't want this video to be too long, and so I omitted some of the parts, but you just need to, because you have your guidelines, you just go with your guidelines and make sure you are sewing on your guidelines, right? So that is what I was doing, as you can see. So because I wanted to make a fringe, I said initially, and so I started with my lines in front. That is where I'm going to be cutting my fringe, and so that is it. I went ahead to sew and sew and sew and sew, as you can see. So guys, kindly do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel and then make sure you stick and stay for more videos, more tutorials like this. Now we are going to be going in circles, as you can see. So I went in circles. Now when you are going in circles, you want to go at a pace. Do not go on a high speed. Just go gently so that you know you are doing the right thing. So as you can see, I was still sewing on my guidelines. Yeah, so that is it. I kept on going in circles. You keep on going in circles till you get to the last circle in the middle. Can you see that? So that is what you want to be doing. Go in circles till you get to the last circle in the middle. Now when you are getting to the middle part where you are going to be doing your closing, you want to be intentional about it. You want to make sure you don't sew too much into the hair, and so you just need to make sure that when you get to the small circle in the middle, you make sure you are sewing around it, and then you end by closing the hair by sewing on the weft. You get that? So this is just how you go in circles till you are done. Now this is how our wig is looking like after sewing. So we are going to be using this heat protectant and argan oil serum to do the straightening and the cutting as well. So I went ahead to use the argan oil serum, spread it in the hair, comb the hair out, and then I straightened it out. So you want to straighten your hair before you cut. Yes, especially if you are a beginner, I advise you straighten your hair before you cut. Right. Now, before we straighten the hair, I went ahead to press the middle. You see where I did my closing? I go ahead and press it with my straightener to make sure it lies down flat, really flat. So you press it until it is really flat. That is when you stop. Until then, keep on pressing. Press it so hard. Make sure that the center is flattened. You want your wig to look very sleek. Can you see how the closing look like? Yes, that is what you want to get. So make sure you press it hard. Now, so yes, this is what it's looking like right now, and I'm okay with it. So we are going to be using this razor comb and then my tail comb to do the cutting, right? So now you are going to comb the hair and then straighten it out before we do the cutting. And so I comb out all the hair, make sure that I get every strand straightened. You don't want to do any mistakes, because when you cut a hair, one thing about cutting is when you cut the hair and then you make a mistake, you can't put the hair back, and so you want to make sure you are being intentional about it. So I went ahead to comb out the hair, as you can see. So it's already giving the fringe look. It's giving us the fringe look already without even us starting with the cutting. So I went ahead to straighten. Make sure you straighten everything. Now this is what it looks like after straightening it. So we are going to go ahead and cut with light strokes. Especially if you're a beginner, please go with light strokes Now when you are cutting, make sure you are holding the strand of the hair, the part you are cutting. Make sure you have a strand of it in your hand. Then you cut slightly, just slight strokes. Make sure you cut, don't go into deep. When you cut deep, you are going to make a mistake and you can't put the hair back. So make sure you are making slight strokes, just like what I'm doing in the video. As you can see, I'm making slight strokes. So make sure you cut from the back. Every cutting you do, make sure you cut from the back before you go to the front. Now you want to get that, I think, oval shape at the back, and so you also want to make the ear tabs. So you also want to get ear tabs, and so you have to leave that aside and cut, and make sure you get the shape of the head at the back. So make sure you cut from the back, make slight strokes, cut until you think it's okay, right? Yes, you don't want the hair to go bald, but just make sure you are cutting. You need to cut almost a lot of the hairs away because we don't need them. Yeah, so just be cutting like I'm doing in the video. Keep on cutting. Whilst you are cutting, you are bringing out the shape at the back. So just like what I'm doing, yeah, you just keep on cutting. Now, one thing I would also advise you is when you are a beginner and you are learning how to do the cutting, I would advise you go in with, don't use a new blade for your razor. Yes, so what I'm holding is a razor comb, but if you are a beginner, I wouldn't advise you use a new comb. You use a new blade. The blade you put inside should be a blade that maybe you've used a little or something, but don't use a new blade because it will give you sharp ends and you don't want that. And so make sure you go in with maybe a blade you've had for a while, not a new one. So as you can see, I just kept on cutting. So you cut until you think you are okay with it, right? Just keep on cutting, but do not touch the fringe, the front part or the fringe. Don't touch it. Just keep on cutting. You cut the back, make sure you have your you've shaped it out. Just keep on cutting like that until you are satisfied with the look you are getting. Whilst you are cutting, so you make sure you are getting that shape you want at the end. Now we are not going to be touching the fringe part of the hair because or the front part of the hair where we have our fringe. That side you are not going to cut. You are only going to cut just the tip of the hair to get the bulkiness and make it have that fringe look. So you are not going to trim the hair in front. You just cut the tips of it and have that fringe look, and that is all. You just go ahead and then straighten you bob it out to have that bob look, fringe look. Do you get it? Right, so that is what you are doing. So this is how it looks after cutting the back, as you can see. Now, as you can see, I didn't really touch the front of the hair. Like I said, I couldn't video that side, so just cut. Now this is the front. Can you see? This is where we have our fringe. We are just going to cut the tips from there, and that is all. Don't use the scissors. Use the razor to cut, and this is what it's looking like after I cut that side, the tips from the fringe. Now let's transfer it onto my mannequin, and this is what it looks like. Now this is the final look it is giving. So I made this for a client. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok. You can follow us on Instagram at first _class hair studio, same as TikTok, first_class hair studio. Yes, so follow us. You can make purchases from us as well. We made this for a client and she really loved it. She couldn't get enough of it. So guys, this is how we end our video. And so if this is what you need, if this video was helpful to you, kindly do well to give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and also do not forget to subscribe. Yes, so until we see you next time, it's bye.